Hey, welcome back everybody. I am the Gerbil, and this is viewer question number 10. It's been 2 weeks since my last one. As you probably know, I put out some videos that were very well received recently about the raid. That really dominated all of my SWGOH YouTube time. So thank you. I hope that you don't mind this one coming to you all a little bit late, but thank you for that reception. I hope to answer your questions in this video as best I can. With that said, I have a remarkable headache tonight, so I'm probably not going to spend as much time on some of these questions or do justice to them as I would normally. But let's do this and let's have a good time if we can. So first question from DJ Hyrule. Says, I recently unlocked GL Leia. Rock on, congratulations. And I don't know how I should be modding her or her squad. Any suggestions? There are a couple of different thoughts on this, especially when it comes to like R2-D2, because R2 shares 10% of his max health, protection, potency, tenacity, I think, and offense with the whole team. So depending which one of those you mod with him, you know, do you like go a little bit of everything and give it to him? Do you just go for maximum speed so that you can try to take more turns and stun enemies? Do you go for, like, honestly, I'm not sure what the optimal modding is on this team, because there are just a lot of variables like the R2 one. I recommend on Leia you go for a lot of speed. I would push for like at least 130 to 160 speed in that range. Honestly, I think anything more than that is probably overkill, but there will be people who disagree. You want to mod for as much health as possible on her because she is a tank and there's all kinds of health synergies. On R2, I went for a lot of speed. You can see he's plus 158, and then I went for a crap load of health originally, and I was pushing like 150,000 health. I mean, I got it way up there. I had a health triangle, health speed arrow, health arrow, health cross, and I backed that off. I just found it wasn't necessary, and so I don't know. My R2 bonds are just kind of all over a bit. I've got like a triangle offense. I've got potency on the cross, and it's because he just shares. So I figure a little bit of everything is good for all the different needs of the team members. Now Drogon, I'm going to say something controversial. I do not believe you need to mod Drogon for insane offense. A lot of people do. I mean, they put offense everything. Offense arrow, offense cross, offense triangle, or crit damage on the triangle. And I don't think you need that because there are so many multipliers in his kit. Like, you do Leia's special targeting him to strip his turn meter and other shenanigans. And when he takes his first turn with a basic, he should be hitting somebody for 400,000 to 600,000 damage. Doesn't really matter. Ultimately, if he's hitting for 4 or 6, it's going to kill the target usually. So I find that with Drogon, I prefer to sacrifice a little bit of offense and get some more speed to get him out in front of the enemies to do the one-shot delete. As far as team member 4 and 5, that depends who you're putting in there, and there's no right one. I don't like the Leia with Han Solo Chewbacca team, not because it's OP. I just don't like breaking up my CLS. If you've seen my recent videos, I honestly have Wedge and Biggs in there, and they're working great. I go look at my GAC history. I actually just got hammered this last week because I didn't have mods on like 6 of my top players. I totally messed that up when I joined, forgot to remod. But so I didn't put much effort into GAC, but I beat 2 or 3, I don't remember, GL Leias with Han and Chewie using GL Leia with Wedge and Biggs. It's like, I'd rather take these people off the bench and use them and save my CLS for other stuff. So I don't know. I also really like Fulcrum and Rolo in there. And then if I want to be like safe, I will typically go with Scarif, Pathfinder, and Mon Mothma. That's a very safe team. But I've seen a lot of people lately using Captain Rex, and I think that's a big mistake because Phoenix is way too good to break apart. Anyway, moving on. From Moff Claga, do you think that gearing Captain Rex to use him with Bad Batch... Whoa, stop. that could totally be a thing, and that could be really awesome. But I will say this, first off, Bad Batch is already a really awesome team. I don't believe it needs or will benefit from a Rex lifter if it did lift it. And then the second thing is, like, Captain Rex and Phoenix is amazing. They can beat multiple GLs, not 100% of the time, and there's a lot of variability in there. But Phoenix is an amazing team with Rex, like absolutely A tier, A+ team. So I would go Phoenix. But if you absolutely don't want to gear up the other Phoenix team members, and they're really easy, honestly, they need no Chirotechs until Gear 12 finishing piece, right? I would say maybe consider Clone Troopers if you don't have gas, because Rex-led Troopers with Captain Rex is also really, really good, and in 3v3, it's solid. So, yeah, no, I would not put Captain Rex with Bad Batch. Let's see here. Astra says, out of the Resistance characters, what's the splits you can do? So there is a lot of ways that you can split these up, but by the time you get to the late game, there are only 2 real Resistance teams. That's Finn with the Resistance heroes, usually Poe, not always, and then Zori. And then along that, you got the Rey GL, who doesn't need any Resistance allies. Yeah, seriously. Jedi training Rey typically goes off and joins Starkiller. R2-D2 will join Leia, or could go with Galactic Republic. R2 is very versatile. And then C-3PO needs to be early, mid-game, needs to be with CLS, just hands down. He makes the CLS team so good. And then as far as the pilot, Resistance pilot, just forget about him. Rose has a place in Territory Wars. There are others who swear by her with the Omicron. And then the veterans, sadly, they just don't do much. Sorry. So, yep, there's your 2 teams. Let's see here. We got Tonberry King, who, aloha, hey, look at that, and some Chinese there. I don't read Chinese, sorry. My wife does. She's Chinese, but I don't. My son does. He's 5, and he can read about 250 characters, I think. It's crazy. Anyway, so you have Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, CLS, Jedi Knight Revan, Starkiller, Profundity, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and Leia. Congratulations. Take her to Relic 9. You won't be disappointed. And that's it. I wouldn't say that's it, bro, because that's a really good list. So where to go next? Sincerely, 100%, my recommendation is Grand Inquisitor, because it's you need the 5 Inquisitors to unlock Grand Inquisitor. Your guild is going to need that to get to Riva in Rise of the Empire. By going the Inquisitor route, especially with what you have, you've got plenty of access to Chirotechs. It's a Chirotech heavy team, but your guild is going to very much appreciate you contributing to the Rise of the Empire Reaver unlock at some point. And then after that, I mean, it's only 6 characters, easy to get, not easy to get. Back that up. It's 6 characters. But GI Inquisitors is actually a very, very good team. It's a solid team in Territory Wars on defense, with or without the Omicrons, but it's a great team. But I would also focus totally on Jabba the Hutt. You've already got a couple of the requirements in there from those other people, and Jabba is going to get you access to the Smuggler's Run 2, where you get really, really good rewards to instantly 6-dot 2 mods every 2 weeks. So you get 4 6-dot mods a month, plus, was that 40, 80, 160 attenuators to reroll stats. I mean, it's super, super best. From Jay Blah, it says, who would I like to see as a Sith Eternal Lifter unit? Snoke would be my number one, like, I would love to see from those movies. I think Snoke had so much potential, and it just went nowhere, right? I mean, he may also have to be one of those, like, massive characters, because Homeboy was pretty tall. So if that's the case, then just give us, like, top half Snoke. I'm okay with that. He doesn't need legs. I would also like to see the Fallen Sith, like all those people who were chanting and cheering him on, like, Sith, Sith, Sith. You know, think like Night Sister Zombie, but these fallen Sith, like, they just appear behind him. Sith, Sith, Sith. Give me an S, give me an I, give me a T, give me an H. Who's that spell? Emperor Palpatine. And they could passively feed him power, strength, mastery, protection, healing, whatever. They don't even have to engage. They can totally be passive. Maybe you can't even target them. Maybe they're just there, right? I think that would be so cool. And then also, like, that guy, whoever he is, I can never, ever remember his name. Like, his turn should take 2.5 minutes and just monologue political jargon. It would just make everybody want to quit. Hey, from Biblio Hairstylio. I love that name. That's great. Biblio Hairstylio. Can I explain what makes Zori Omicron worth the cost? No, I really can't. I understand that the team is good. Yep, it really is. But how much is that Omicron really adding? I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't know. The thing is, this team I hate with a passion. I hate it because it's really good, and I don't really know what to do against it. It has given me such of a headache. I love it because it's free to play, accessible, and really good. But I mean, look what people take up against Finn. Finn with Zori. And Rose. People are throwing Reva at them. Starkiller. Dr. Aphra. I mean, these are late game squads against all free-to-play characters. So why does it work? I don't know. Do I have it? No. My Zori is still 6 stars, I think, maybe even 5. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to everything. Let me get that farmed up and I'll try to re-hit that in a future vid, right? From Kaidarian says, sorry if I've already covered this. I have, but are Ewoks viable in assault battles? And if so, any clue on relics? Yeah, they are. Nisa brings a lot more to the show, but the fact of the matter is, it's slow fighting those separatists. Even with Nisa, you can hit full auto all the way through probably challenge tier 1 if you get like medium level relics. Take them all to R7. You can beat challenge tier 2 with Nisa. I don't know if they can beat challenge tier 3. I have not tried. I keep meaning to, and I just don't have time. The fact of it is, though, that the Jedi are just way, way more effective in this territory battle because there's this little trick you run, and I'm not sure if I got this in my head, but there's a mechanic where using Luke's, I think, Heroes Arise, that as the lead, you basically ensure that he goes first at the end of... Oh, I think you trigger Heroes Arise to make the kill shot every phase, so that he goes first, guaranteed, in the next round, and then I don't know. Google it. Jedi Knight Luke Ground War Assault Battle. And I think I've got a video. If I don't, of course, lots of other people like Zareth, AP Gaines probably. There's some great people out there. It's a fabulous trick that you can walk through most of these really, really fast. Like, Jedi Knight Luke is the star of this assault battle. Other than that, this is the only one that Ewoks can play in, if I recall that correctly. Speaking of AP Gains, from Jedi Master Jedi Knight SG, he's like, hey, what's the minimum gear to unlock CLS? This is a 2-year-old video from my guy AP Gains, but check it out. There's a link there. You really only need like gear 8, 9. They don't have to be very high. And for the most part, unless you are a fan of OG characters, don't gear them past this until you find a need for them down the road. I Relic won my Farm Boy Luke in anticipation of him being a requirement for GL Leia. That was a mistake. I've really never used him since. Now, I want to R7 him and put the Omicron on him for Territory Wars, but I feel like that's just a bad idea. So I'm not doing it. From Tyler, bro, Tyler, thank you so much. This is just a kind message you sent here, wishing me a, or expressing your gratitude for what I've done. I really appreciate that. And yeah, happy Turkey Day, Thanksgiving to you too out there. How did my day go? Well, I'm in China. I took my son out for pizza. It was just me and the 5-year-old. I could have done a big shebang, but decided not to. But you see that blue dot? That's where my family is. The red dot is where I was. The green dot is where my wife was. She was traveling for business. That yellow dots, plural, are where some good friends of mine are. And I got a lot of other friends back in that blue dot. So, like, you know, I'm thankful that I have this channel, this game, all these friends and families around the world, but I really, really, really wish that I had been able to spend the holiday with them. Yeah. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Moving right along. And Tesshordo. So what are my top 5 characters I'd love to see touched up? Probably these. I think these are characters that to me all have some kind of significant value in the lore, in the series, and they mostly just are not usable or viable. Like Ethkoth, actually I could substitute Ethkoth for several other Jedi in the game in here, but really I do think that they're going to start touching up, buffing, or doing something with Jedi Council members this year. I really, really do. And that goes in line with the next question we're going to get to. Tarkin is way, way underappreciated. People don't realize this. Tarkin was the right hand of Emperor Palpatine. He was. Vader was the enforcer. Tarkin is brutal. He was a brutal, methodical diplomat and military leader. I mean, the Tarkin doctrine is referenced over and over and over again throughout Star Wars. So, like, I would love to see him actually take on a role in this game that is way, way more effective. Wedge is just too good as, I think, as a lore character, Red 5 squad, or Red leader. I think that, I mean, he's not even good as a pilot in this game. Farm Boy Luke, I mean, come on. It's the first character we're introduced to in Star Wars. And then Tebow is the first Ewok we're introduced to, and I love my Ewoks. So that next question comes to us from K7R3. Great job predicting Leia. Thank you so very much. I knew you were going to be right. Thank you so much. What's your next GL prediction? You know, I wish I could say Revan Reborn. I really do. I don't like Old Republic. I don't like Sith Empire. I don't like anything to do with Knights of the Old Republic because I've never played it. It's probably amazing. I've just never played it. I don't know anything about it, so I have no connection to it. Nothing emotional. Nothing that tugs at my strings. So why then do I wish it's Revan Reborn? Because there are so many people who do love it. I mean, there are so many KOTOR fans that I think that this would be good homage to them. But I don't think it's going to happen. We don't have enough pieces of the puzzle yet. So I'm going to defer this question to say the Resolute. I think we're going to get the Resolute next summer. So get your Gear 10 gas ready. And I do mean that. But as far as other GLs, I also think that we're going to get a lot of Jedi Phantom Menace Galactic Republic love this coming year. I think we're getting some Jedi Council love, and I think that's going to feed into the Resolute summer launch. I actually really don't know who the next GL is going to be, but I'll ponder that. Let me ponder that. Let me crunch some numbers, collect some data, and get back to you. Wild Styles 2K3 Guildmate, thank you for the question. I predict, man, look at this. I didn't even notice that. 2 GL prediction questions back in a row. It says, no broken teams before they're realized by the community, Ewoks, and now find huge bugs in the game. Yes. How do I do that? What can I not do? Well, bro, let me tell you something. I can't run a marathon. I can't fly like Superman. I can't date. My wife won't let me. She says if I date other girls, then she'll leave, and so I can't do that. And I can't figure out where that liquid's coming from in the tap. You see, you push the button and it just flows freely. And like I've traced the round tube into the wall, and from there it's just like magic, right? I mean, where's it coming from? And it's all over. It comes out of the taps at school, at my relatives, at the restaurants, in the malls, in the bathrooms, everywhere. I even see the street sweeping people getting it from those pipes. Where does it come from? So I went to the ocean. I thought surely there, but you know what? That had salt in it. I'm telling you folks, there's something magical about this. I will find the source one day. Cosmo Dark Eclipser says, when it comes to Ewoks, either on defense or offense, have I been able to notice a pattern of who Nisa or Wicked call to assist? Because if so, can you mod to account for that? Actually, I have no idea. That's an interesting question, and I think that you could be onto something if there is a discernible pattern, but sincerely, my recommendation would be not to mod for a random event or what may be a random event that you cannot control. There are definite modding guidelines for the Ewok faction, as there are for most factions, but like, I don't know, maybe I will watch for that. I rarely see Ewoks on defense anymore, because I'm in Kyber 1-2. I got to Kyber 1, lasted for a week, but yeah, I rarely see Ewoks on defense, so I don't get to battle them anymore. And then in Territory Wars, of course, and in your own GSE, you can't see your own defense, so I don't know. But that's a great question. I'll look for some footage if I can, if I get some time, because I'm curious, but I would not mod for that, just FYI. Just a couple more questions here from Sup1. You have an Omicron and you're wondering where to put it. You say that you have Rex, Captain Rex at 7 stars and Hera at Relic 4 because you're going for profundity, I assume. And you're asking if you should prioritize Phoenix and throwing an Omicron or Rex. The answer is yes. Your alternative is Dash and a bunch of other people, and no. Dash is a great character. All of those are great characters. But Phoenix is way more powerful. Also, like, Hondo's gonna need a whole bunch of Kairos. I think Nest needs some Kairos. I don't know about L3 and Vandor. I don't think they do. Dash certainly does. But other than Captain Rex, none of the Phoenix need Cairo tech, and I think that they're going to help you a lot more. I mean, they beat a lot of really good teams, potentially even a couple GLs. There's a lot of RNG involved, depends on the enemy squad, you got to be careful, but they can definitely do it. And yeah, in Territory Wars, I think they're even more effective with Hera's Omicron, which I would not do that unless you just love TW, but I did, and in Territory Wars, they are so good. But yeah, anyway, just go for Captain Rex. You will not be disappointed, I promise. You really will not be. Hey, Tinger says, do I stand by my Ewok team comps that I put in my videos when Nisa came out? Before Nisa came out, I think. At the time they were predictions, right? And the answer is I don't remember. But this is my favorite all-round go-to. If you want to see how I mod, check out my SWGOH account. I actually have a couple of them modded wrong because I've had to move mods around and it didn't make a discernible impact into them because they're already good enough in Relic 9. But yeah, you heard that. But this team is in GAC Rise of the Empire. I'm on Lothal, which requires all Relic 8, and they're going 2-0 in Lothal. It's kind of grindy, but they're also solidly good in Territory War defense. You put the Omicron on Nisa, and she guarantees to go first, which means you do not need Poplo. Did I say Pablo? Pablo. I think I said Pablo. You do not need Pablo. In GAC, if you're going to run them as a defensive squad, many people will take out Wicket, put in Poplu, and I don't think that's the right choice because Poplu will get the ball going by going first, but he often calls the wrong person to assist. If he calls Nisa, which is what I would suspect is going to happen, Nisa's going to go. If Nisa then, I mean, there's so much RNG, you don't know that you're going to get in control of it. You can't control what the enemies are going to put on there. I think it's better just to go with Wicket, who has more healing, and you get more AoE turn meter gains and some other stuff through Wicket. I think it's just more explosive. Nisa is going to protect your team like against stuns and dazes anyway, with 100% protection up. So I don't like that one with Poplu as much, but a lot of people do, and of course a lot of people don't have my relic level or gear like mods, so maybe Poplu is the smarter choice at lower gear levels. But yeah, these are the two best squads, hands down. Couple more slides left. Crazy Ram, farming GLA, and you're wondering if you can put Kyle Katarn in there. You can, but I wouldn't. Kyle, while he is a rebel, a lot of his kit calls out explicitly benefits to rebel fighters. He does have some nice things in there, and he's fast, and he's got an AoE and an ability block on basic. But sincerely, Leia can take your B tier leftover rubbish and make a great squad. Seriously. So I mean, if you've got him ready to go and you don't have Mon Mothma, then sure, why not? He'll hit hard. I mean, he really will. He'll hit really, really hard. He already hits hard, especially with that middle one, the just a guy with a lightsaber. Yeah, just a lightsaber through your face. But I would complete a Mon Mothma squad for raids, and I mean, especially if your guild is doing Geonosian battle, get the Omicron on him, and it's easy. It's really easy. Even in Rise of the Empire, some of the earlier tiers are just easy with him. I'm pretty sure it's his Omicron. Mara J, do I have an infographic for trooper squads? No, sorry. Sorry, Mara, no, I'd love to make one. I just don't have time to do all these things. Maybe one year. So, Zork, dude, I love that name, Zork. It reminds me of Fifth Element. Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. Does speed affect the indoor raid at all? Yes. I've seen people saying, nah, you don't need speed. Yes. You need speed. Especially if you're going to try the Leia 2.7 million solo, she has to be 240 speed or faster-ish. I don't remember. So the thing is, like, how do you lose? You generally don't lose in the indoor raid until the enemies get enraged. It's all free reign mostly until they get enraged. They reach enrage when their enrage clock hits 100%, and that is determined by the number of turns you take plus kills. So why does it matter how fast you are if you're still going to take X turns? It matters because the enemies heal. So here's some math down below. Let's say it takes 100 damage to defeat an enemy. If you're going pew pew for 20 damage a turn, which is a 10,000 offense value on a basic attack. So let's say rebels. Let's say you got Han Solo, Drogon, and Wedge, and you're just going pew 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 basic all the way, which is what that squad is going to do. You need to hit them 5 times to kill that one guy. So if you go 20, 40, 60, 80 damage, and then the trooper heals, now he's at 21, and you hit him again, he ain't dead. Suddenly you need 6 turns. But if all 3 of your players are faster and you go damage, die, then you have saved a 0.5%. I know that's not much, but if that happens 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, now you're talking 5-6%. And that 5-6% is probably the difference on whether or not you kill a shadow trooper in the end. And the shadow troopers are the ones where you get the most points. So yes, you absolutely want to mod for speed for most squads. Not all, but most. Dr. Pivot. That's cool. Do you know the Wookiee bot? I do. Do you know the Muffin Man? And do you know Army of Darkness? One of my all-time favorite movies, which has nothing to do with this video. Yeah, I do know Wookiee bot, and I don't like it. It's a good place to go if you're not sure what to do, but it's relying still on a lot of incomplete data, I think is a polite way to say it. Incomplete data. So this is what WookieBot said for me. 12.5 is my estimated score. I got 13.8. But of course, I know this raid real well now if you've watched my recent channel vids. But like, look at here, it says tier 6 solo with Leia 2.1. I got 2.475, and now we know I should have got 2.7. So the data in WookieBot is absolutely still being filled in and calculated. So it's a wonderful tool, but just bear in mind right now it's still in the early stages. The people behind this bot are brilliant. And they will definitely make this a go-to solution for you, just like they did with the crate raid. But for right now, just keep in mind the data pool is still limited, and anybody working with limited data will have limited results. So Yeah, use it, watch it, but don't rely on it. Not yet. All right, last 2 questions. Sorry, talking for a long time. Gerbil, have I tested the efficiency of using 2 heroes in the raid instead of 3? Yes, and I don't understand why. Like back to this question, 2 versus 3, like this is what WookieBot is suggesting, and you see how it's like C3PO, 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 C3PO. Like some of these, like log raid with C3PO, that does not make sense to me. Not at all. It could be because the jam mechanic is broken, but whatever. I think most people are doing 2 because it enables you to get to a higher tier with fewer characters, and I get that, I do, but you will get less score for the most part. Especially if you're running like a trooper with an evade unit like Ewok Elder or Akbar, you really do want 2 people spanning evasion, 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 so that you just go delete every single turn as quickly as possible with your Imperial Trooper. So I think it's a temporary thing that people are doing. I don't think that's going to last in the long run. And then the other thing about C3PO is I fully expect CG will stop that because he is a damage unit here with the evasive maneuvers, which is probably the most important mechanic in the raid, and I don't think they want you doing that over and over again. They are looking into it. They've already said that. Also, just be aware that C3PO, because he is a damage dealing unit, you want to mod him for offense in this raid and speed. Right? Offense doesn't matter in GAC, so you probably don't have any offense mods on him, which means he's not doing any damage hardly. So mod him for offense, mod him for speed, and enjoy. Last question. This one's a complicated one that I'm just going to summarize. Early game, level 58, should you go for Separatists with a Rebel or Empire fleet? Sure. It's a totally viable, very good pathway. It's not my preferred, as longtime viewers for this channel will tell you, but it absolutely is reliable and easy. At some point, though, you're going to want to... It almost forces you then to go get Malevolence, though, down the road, which is okay. It's a great ship. It is. I mean, I don't mean to knock it. But it's another ship that steers you away from the GL ships. It takes some time and credit and energy away from the focus towards the GLs. I would recommend, yeah, get Tarkin, get the Separatists early, because they're easy. Use that until you've fleshed out a solid Empire fleet, which you'd want to switch over to Thrawn, possibly, or not. Doesn't really matter, honestly, anymore. But then I would be focusing on your bounty hunters to get to the Executor. Why? Because you can counter... I do believe you can counter all of the GL fleets with Thrawn or Tarkin's capital ship using Second Sister's ship, Iden's ship, and eventually Scythe. Scythe makes it way easier. But then you need like GL capital ships no matter what, and Executor is probably the easiest one to get. Especially since like TIE Fighter is needed at Relic 5, so just plug and play TIE Fighter into your Empire ship, early farm ship, until, he's just no longer good anymore. Sadly, at some point, he's not that effective. There are definitely some builds again. Like I said, this is a complicated one. Yes, I would go for the Separatist bugs until you are able to get those Empire ships up and running so that you can bring out like TIE Defender on your first reinforcement and then just start deleting people. Yeah, there you go. Simplified. Okay, folks, it's been 37 minutes and I am hoarse and done, and my headache is still raging. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching. I hope I've helped you somewhere on this path of ours through Star Wars. If so, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, please, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.